Okay. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So we will have our lesson number 6 today, inshallah. And yes, the topic that we will cover for today will be letters that change their shape according to the position in a word. And also, I have written the subheadings as well for this topic, that the same is the, case with and the way we join up the letters. That is the same topic. And also compound letters, we can also say this as well. And we can say how to put letters together. Why I have written all of these things? Because, in different Qaida books, the books that we follow, I mentioned that we are following the book written by Sheikh Asim, right? I think, if I'm not wrong, this is the name, which is Qaida Al-Qur'aniyah. So we are following that book, and in that book, the topic is letters that change shape according to position in a word. But in other Qaidas, we have this topic with the names of joining of the letters or compound letters and all of these names. So, the same thing in like in just little different ways. So we will just cover all of these in a merged way, you can say that. Okay, so what will happen, sisters, is that in front of you, you again see all of these 29, 30 alphabets of Arabic. So for, understanding today's topic, you will obviously, obviously have this thing that you should have memorized all of the Arabic alphabets by their names on your fingertips, right? If you know all of these alphabets very clearly by their names, and that is how, that is when you can move to this next step of understanding uh, how to write these words of Arabic and how to join up these letters together. Because if you're not familiar for now with their shapes and with their names, then it will be a little difficult for you at this point to start this today's session. So what I will just do is I will inshallah explain, all of these things. But if you will not, if you find it difficult, or if you think that things are not that clear for you at this point and you are getting confused and everything, what you can do again is to refer back to the previous recordings, right? So first, just kind of memorize the names of the alphabets and their correct articulation points and their sounds, and then you move up to this second step. Also, another thing I mentioned in the previous sessions was that you were supposed to write the letters as well. We kind of covered 5 letters or 6 letters or 8 letters a day, and I said that, sisters, kindly write these alphabets side by side. Just practice these as well by writing them. That was a part of a kind of a preparation for like they were like the preparatory task for today's session. So if that part was missing on your end, okay, so again, what I would just again suggest is that you kind of try to practice writing at least these shape that you see in front of you, and then you move towards the second step, okay, of joining the letters together. Okay, so let me just tell you how the letters change their shape according to their position in a word. We all know, English does not change, the English alphabets, they don't change their shape. They remain the same, even if they come at the start or in the middle or at the end. Just the way you see these words written here, the letters are just separately written, right? One after the other. But in Arabic, what happens is that we join the letters together, and what we do for that, we use certain parts of the letters. For example, for this Jim letter, you do not use the full alphabet. So in most of the cases, for example, when Jim comes at the start, you just use this first part of the Jim, right? When Jim comes in the middle, we use it like this, right? This is the Jim here. And when Jim comes at the end, we use it like this. So we see that there can be 3 possibilities for the letters, depending upon their position, if they come at the beginning, or if they come in the middle, or if they come at the end. So there are maximum 3 possibilities a letter can change, but sometimes the letter remains the same regardless of whatever position it may have. For example, this alphabet, it comes in the middle and it comes at the end as well. It does not come at the start. I have already told you in the previous sessions that alif does not come at the start of any word. So whenever it comes in the middle or at the end, the same, like it has this shape, same shape, it remains intact. Okay, so this is the same shape alif will have. But other alphabets, they might take two shapes. Okay, and sometimes they might like take more than, three shapes as well. For example, this is kind of an exception of this Hamza alphabet. It has many shapes. So this is what you need to remember for now with regards to the Arabic alphabets, right? That you might have to remember a little variations in their shapes depending upon their position in a word. Okay, so let me just tell you how, the alphabets might change their shape. So this is kind of a, a table you can see in front of you, in which I have, kind of mentioned the possibilities one letter may take depending on the position. So at the top of the table, this is written beginning, in the middle, and at the end. So the first point here is with regards to the letter Alif, right? Which is the first alphabet of Arabic. So Alif, for Alif, I mentioned that Alif does not come at the start. So that is why I have encircled this and marked a little cross here, that Alif will not come at the start. So obviously there isn't any possibility for that as well. Um, Alif, when it will come in the middle, it will take this shape, right? And similarly, when Alif will come at the end, it will have this shape, right? So I have, just this is the table that shows the possibilities for all of the letters. So what you can do, sisters, is that you can find such a table from the internet as well, or you can just take a screenshot of this slide as well. Okay, that the slide that is in front of you right now, you can take screenshots of these, or you can find this on the internet as well. Or what you can do is you can simply, download the PDF of the book that we are following, which is Al-Qaida Al-Quraniya book. Okay, in that book you will find the tables as well. A little different than this one, but inshallah you will find it. And what you will do, sisters, is that you will try to see, the possibilities for each letter, and try to practice writing these as well. For example, this letter here, this is the ba letter. Okay, if I write it like this, the actual shape of the ba letter is this. Let me write it here. This is the actual shape of ba letter with a dot below it, right? So when ba comes at the start, what we do, we just cut the first part of the ba, and this is the way ba comes at the start. In the middle, ba will be something like this, and when ba comes at the end, it will be written like this. So same is the case with the ta letter here, the possibilities for the ta letter here. Then we have the possibilities for the ta letter here. Then we have the possibility for Jim letter here, sisters. Jim, when it comes at the start, it is like this. When it will come in the middle, like this. And when at the end, like this. So this is the table that showcases, all of the possibilities for all the alphabets. Okay, let me just move on to the next table as well. The other letters, Sheen, Seen, and Saw, then God, letter Tha, Va. Again, I'm just going to move forward. This has all the possibilities written, and we will inshallah see one by one with examples now. Okay, so these are all the cases written. For example, at the end of this table, I have made certain additions as well. Why I have made certain additions in my own writing as well. This is the below. I hope you are able to just understand this. Never mind. But for Hamza, because this case was missing in the book that from which I have taken these screenshots. Okay, so this was missing in there. Hamza letter is actually very, very interesting letter, and I have told you the difference of Hamza with Alif as well in our previous sessions, right, sisters? So Hamza, when you will find it in the Arabic Musaf, or in the Musaf, or like in the copy of the Quran, which is the Arabic copy of the Quran, in that Hamza will take so many shapes. Okay, all of these possibilities are written here. Hamza will come something like this as well. Sometimes you will find Hamza like this, sometimes like this, sometimes in its actual form like this, sometimes like this as well, and sometimes like this as well. Okay, so these are all the shapes Hamza letter might take. So that is why I have written all of these shapes below, and you can remember these as well, sisters. Okay, let me just move on to the next slide, and let me tell you all of the possible scenarios with examples now. Okay, so the first alphabet, sisters, was alif alphabets. Again, repeating this thing that alif does not come at the start. So the possibilities are now two, that alif might come in the middle and it might come at the end. So the example of the alif when it comes in the middle is like this. Kana. The sound here is in the middle. Ka. If I write it like this. Kana. Kana. Alif here is in the middle. So we write it like this, right? This is like something like this in the middle. Okay, let's move on to the next example, which is alif is now at the end here, right? You see sisters like this. Lamma, sound at the end of alif. Lamma. Okay. Now moving on to the second alphabet of Arabic. What we will do, sisters, is that for ba letter, when it comes at the start, we take this first part of the ba, like this, sisters. Right? We use this first part of the bar. We cut bar like this, and the dot here is below the bar, right? So when bar comes at the start, we write it like this. The example is basara, basara. This is the way we have joined bar with the dot below it, right? Basara. Now let's see when bar comes in the middle, like this. So for that, we will use this form. When ba comes in the middle, it will be something like this, sisters. Okay, again, one dot below it. The example is a ba sa. Ba here is in the middle. A ba sa. A ba sa. Okay, now let's see how ba might come at the end. So when ba comes at the end, the shape remains intact. It is just the same ba at the end, you see, right? Here like this. na bin. Aina bin. Aina bin. Ba is at the end now. Okay, so this is how, we have three possibilities for ba, right? For alif, we have this, single possibility. For ba, we have these two possibilities. Okay, now let's move on to the letter ta, sisters. Ta, we just write it just the way we write ba, but it has two dots above this. So we will again take this first part of the ta with two dots above it, and we will just, write it like this. So when it comes at the start, this is the example. Ta'lam, ta letter at the start, which makes a sound here like ta'lam, ta'lam. Okay, so when ta comes in the middle, it will be something like this, sisters. Okay, ta comes in the middle, it will be something like this with two dots on top. And the example here is of this word, matsrook, mats, matsrook. Ta is here, matsrook with two dots. Okay, so when ta comes at the end, sisters, now, when ta comes at the end, just like the ba letter, the shape is, intact. It remains the same like this. Ta. The ta letter here is at the end. We say malakats, kats. You hear the ta sound at the end, right? Malakats. Okay. Also, sisters, for ta, there is one more possibility as well. For ba, we had like the two possibilities, or you can say even three as well. At the end, ba remains same, so except that we have two possibilities. But for ta letter, we have three more possibilities. Why? This third possibility is very, very common. For example, of this word, jannatan, Jannatan, right? The word Jannah. At the end, we have this ta letter, but now the ta letter is not written here like this. Jannatan, rather than this ta, the ta changed its shape and it is something like this now. Jannatan. Okay, so this is also ta letter. You're not supposed to get confused uh, because of the changed shape here. Okay, so the ta letter has quite many possibilities, sisters, right? You will have to remember these shapes for the ta letter. But what is common is that there are two dots on top of it. So whenever ta comes, you will, recognize this with the two dots on top of the letters. Okay, now moving on to the fourth letter, which is sa letter, sisters. Sa. I'm again repeating the sounds of these alphabets as well, so that you kind of, get, you know, you can have this revision as well. So this is Sa alphabet without the whistle sound. So the Sa letter, when it comes at the start, sisters, it is something like this, just like the Ba Ta letter, but with an addition of one more dot. It has three dots on top of it. The example when it comes at the start is of this word, Sa Ma Ro. Samara. Samara. Okay. So when sa comes in the middle, sisters, it will be something like this. Again, very easy, inshallah, very simple. The example is of this word, maswahu. Mas, the three dots here, sisters. Maswahu. Maswahu. Okay, so when sa letter comes at the end, sisters, the shape remains intact. It is something like this with three dots on top of it. We say غيثu, su at the end. غيثu. Okay, so this is something like this. Okay, so now moving on to the fifth alphabet for today, which is Jim. Jim alphabet. So sisters, for this alphabet, I have already, encircled as well, that when we want to write Jim at the start, what we do, sisters, is that we take this first part of the Jim. Okay, we take this first part. Okay, so this is what remains, right? And the dot is now below. When we see the Jim in its full form, the dot is in the middle, right? We see the dot in the middle because there are only two alphabets in Arabic which has a dot in the middle. The first one is Jim, and then we have a Noon alphabet as well, right? So Noon alphabet has a dot in the middle. But for Jim, when we write it at the start or in the middle, we have to cut the shape of the Jim like this, and then we see the dot which is below it. And what happens, sisters, is that sometimes sisters get confused and they are like, what is this now? Is this a ha letter or is this Jim letter? Just because of the dot, sisters are, they get confused. So again, I'm just saying that you have to remember that when we cut the Jim, the dot we see is below this shape. Okay, the dot becomes it gets in the, sorry, it is below this front part of the Jim. Okay, so let's see the example with a word now. When Jim comes at the start, it is something like this. Jama'a. Ja. Jim at the start. Ja. Ma'a. Jama'a. Okay. When Jim comes in the middle, it will again have something, the same shape like this. You see in the middle, right? Here. With a one dot below it. So this is Jim, and we say muj. Mujrimu. Mujrimu. Okay, so this is we say mujrimu, j sound here in the second place. Okay, mujrimu. Okay, so this is the way we are supposed to write the Arabic. And yes, sisters, this can be a little tricky for you because you are very beginners, right? So, inshallah, this comes with practice, so no need to worry. You are supposed to just write these shape, right? And you are supposed to practice these, and inshallah, this will become easier for you as well. I'm very hopeful for that. And now, just let me just tell you all of these examples quickly because, this session is not with regarding the kind of, you can say memorization or hearing the sounds. This lesson has more to do with practice. So even if I just, tell you the basic way how we're supposed to cut the letters, and you just hear and see me for once, inshallah, and this will make things quite clear for you, inshallah. So just like the Jim alphabet, sisters, the Ha alphabet has, a similar shape, right? The Jim, then Ha, and then Ha alphabet, they all are written in the same way. For example, okay, let me write it here. All have this shape. For Jim letter, the dot was in the middle. But now for Ha letter, there isn't any dot. And then for Ha letter, the dot will be on top of its head, right? So for Ha letter, what we will do, sisters, again, we will cut the first part of Ha letter when we use it at the start. Like this, sisters, right? And this is what remains. And let's see how ha comes at the start. Example is of this word harama. Harama. Okay, ha is at the start. Let's see how it will come in the middle now. This is the example of this word mahram. Mahram. Ha letter here, sisters. Mahram. Okay. Moving on to the next alphabet, which is Kha, sisters. Again, taking this first part, and let's see the example now. When Kha comes at the start, this has this shape. Kha, Ra, Ja. Kharaja. Kha. Kha at the start here, sisters. Let's see how it comes in the middle now. Makhraj. Makhraj. So sisters, yes, I mentioned that you're not supposed to confuse this kha with the jim letter, right? If this would have been jim, I would have written it like this. Like this, right? The dot should have been below here, below this shape. But here, for kha, the dot is on the top, but for the jim letter, the dot is below this shape, right? So this is what you are supposed to see very clearly and remember as well, inshallah. Okay, so the next alphabet is actually very, very easy. This is Dal alphabet, sisters, and for this Dal, you are not supposed to get worried because Dal letter does not change its shape. It remains intact, regardless of its position in any word. When it comes at the start, it is, very simple. Let me just write it as well. For example, when I write it like this, when Dal comes at the start, it is very easy, very simple like this. When Dal comes in the middle, sisters, this is the shape it will take. This is actually the same shape, but what happens is that dal just has a little attachment here, right? When it comes in the middle, we have this little attachment with it. The example is of this word ma da da, ma da da, right? Ma da da. Dal is in the middle here and at the end as well. Ma da da. So not a lot of difference, right? When dal comes in the middle, we have another example of this word qadirun, right? This is like this qaf letter and then dal letter. Qadirun, the sound. Qadirun. Okay. So the next letter, dal letter, sisters, just like dal letter, but it has a dot on top of its head, and it has again the same possibilities, just like the previous dal letter. Example here is of this word عذاب. عذاب. Dal here is in the middle, like at this position. Very simple shape, right? With a dot on top of it. Now let's see this example. Here again, dal is here with a dot on top of it. Anzir. Anzir. The letter here. Zir. Okay, sisters. Now moving on to the next letter, which is the raw letters. Okay, so you're not supposed to get confused, with the dal here because the dal letter has a round shape like this, right? And raw letter, it has more like this shape. Okay, it has like straight lines. Okay, raw letter, it is very again simple. Example here is of this word sirata, where we have swad letter and then we kind of attach raw letter with it, right? Like this raw letter with it. Sirata, sirata, raw, raw sound here. Now when raw comes at the end, it is something like this. Khayra, kha letter we have, right? Kha letter has a dot on top of its head. We are attaching then ya letter like this. This is ya letter with two dots below it, and then we attach ra like this. Khayra, khayra. Okay, so very simple, inshallah, sisters. Very simple, but with practice, inshallah. So for now, sisters, just let me just summarize things side by side as well. Alif letter, sisters, is very simple. It does not change many shapes, remains intact. Ba letter takes two shapes, one at the start, one in the middle, but at the end, the shape of the ba is intact. So same is the case with the ta letter and sta letter as well. which has, a unique shape at the start and then in the middle as well. But at the end, they have their shape intact. But there is this exception in the ta letter sometimes, that when it comes at the end, it has a different shape. The example that we saw was of the word jannatan. So at the end, the ta has one more possibility there. But for the Jim letter, sisters, it is very simple. The Jim letter and then Ha letter and then Ha letter. These three letters, they have a same shape with the difference of the dot, right? So in all of these cases, what we do, we take the first part of the Jim, right? We cut the attachment of the Jim, the first part of it, and Ha as well and Ha as well. When we use these three letters at the start or in the middle, right? But at the end, the Jim letter and the ha letter and the ha letter, their shape remains intact when they come at the end of the words. Okay, the next we discussed the dal and dal alphabet, which has a similar shape with the difference of a dot. Their shape remains intact, regardless of their position in a word. Now we have just discussed the raw letter, which has, the same scenario, the same possibility like the dal and dal alphabet. Raw letter, when it comes at the start or in the middle or at the end, it has, its shape intact. Now moving on to the za alphabet. Za, which has, the name written as zay as well. Za or zai, right? This is the za alphabet, this which has this buzzing sound, sisters. So again, the shape of this za alphabet is just like the raw alphabet that we have just did. So for the alphabet, there is this one possibility only. You will have to just remember that when za comes at the start or in the middle or at the end, it remains the same, with which has a dot on top of it. Let's see the example of this word as zakata. Zakata, right? As zakata here, za comes here at this point, but it has its shape intact, sisters. Okay, so now let's see another example of when this letter comes in the middle. Tahzan, za, tahzan. So here again, za letter has its shape intact like this, right? Okay. Now moving on to the next alphabet, sisters, which is Seen alphabet. Seen. So, just the way we have had to cut the Jim, Ha, and Ha, we will do the same thing with scene. We will cut this first part of the scene to use it at the start or in the middle, right? We will use this starting attachment of sheen when it comes at the start. The example of this word is here. Saraba. Saraba. Seen here is at the start. Saraba. Saraba. Okay, let's see the example of this letter when it comes in the middle now. Seen when it comes in the middle is in this word here. Hasanatun. Hasa. This is seen here, sisters, right? This thing here. Hasanatun sa. Okay, so when scene comes at the end, it the shape of it remains as it is, intact. For example, ahassa, ahassa. This word here, scene comes at the end, but it has its full shape here now, right? So you will have to just see the two possibilities when it comes at the start or when it comes in the middle, sisters. So again, the scene is, very much like the in shape that, sorry, in the next alphabet sheen, it has a same shape like the scene alphabet. So again, we will cut this first attachment for sheen when it comes at the start or in the middle. The example for the sheen when it comes at the start is of this word shakara. Shakara. Shakara, right? When sheen comes in the middle, the example is here of this word mushrikuna. Sheen is here. Mushrikuna with three dots on top of it, right? Mushrikuna. Mushrikuna. Okay, now moving on to the next alphabet, sisters, which is Sod. Sod, right? The heavy alphabet. What we will do again, we'll take the first part. When we use this sod at the start of the word, the example here is of the word sabara. Sabara. Sod here is at the start now. Let's see how sod will come in the middle of the word. We have example here of meals, saw sound here. Misbahun, misbahun. Okay, so I hope these examples are not that you can say boring for you. Why? Because we've already discussed the names of the letters, right? And now this session should be helping you with the way we are supposed to articulate the words as well. Because all of these examples of the word in front of you, they have different letters. They are coming together, and when I'm just um, kind of articulating these words, you might be hearing the different sound of the different alphabets. For example, misbahun, it has quite many alphabets in it, so you should be getting familiar with the sounds. This is meme letter at the start, mis, and then we have a sod alphabet, which has this attachment, right, of sod, and then we have a ba alphabet, and then we have alif, and then we have ha alphabet. Okay, so this is the way we have joined all of these alphabets together to make a word misbahun. Five alphabets here. Okay, the next example is of the, okay, so sisters, when Saud alphabet comes at the end, its shape remains intact, just like this. Okay, now moving on to this Dad alphabet, sisters. Just like the Saud alphabets, again we will take the first part of the Saud when it comes at the start. The example is of this word ضرارا ضرارا ضرارا, right? The sound at the start of this alphabet, ضاد. Okay, so when dot will come in the middle, again we will use this the cut part, right, of dot, and yes, we will use it like this. غضب. It has a dot on top of it here. غضب ض. غضب, which has ghain alphabet at the start. Then we have this ضاد alphabet, and then we have ba at the end. غضب. غضب. Okay. So, sisters, you might have seen that the alphabets which have a similar shape, we do the same procedure with them, right? So we did the same procedure with the Seen and Sheen alphabet, and we also did the same thing with letter Sod and Dod because they have similar shape, just the difference is in the dots of Arabic. For now, you are familiar with this thing that the main thing in Arabic alphabets is to remember the dots properly, right? Otherwise, uh, you will change the alphabets just because of the differences of the dots. And when you will be reciting the Quran, if you will have this confusion regarding the dots, what will happen? The meaning of the words will also change as well, right? So in order to read the Quran properly, you should be familiar with the not only the names of the alphabets, but their shapes as well, and also their dots as well. Okay, so the difference is only of the dot, sisters. When we join the alphabets together, letters together, so the only thing that mostly helps us in the identification of the letters is the number of the dots, mostly. Okay, and then sometimes there is this shape as well. For example, the Sod alphabet and the Dod alphabet, it has a different shape, right? A very unique shape. So you will be able to remember these two alphabets because of their shape as well, inshallah. Now moving on to the next alphabet, sisters. Again, these are easy alphabets, inshallah, okay? The Ta alphabet, which is a heavy alphabet, Ta, Ta, and then the next one is Va. Both have again a similar shape, just the difference is of dot now. And both of these two alphabets, they have, their shape intact regardless of their position in a word. Okay, so the first alphabet here, Ta. When it comes at the start or in the middle or at the end, the shape will remain the same. The example is first here of طمع طمع طمع. طا here is at the start and you can easily identify it, right? طمع. So let's see when طا comes in the middle here, sisters. سلطانة طا. Okay? سلطانة. طا here is in the middle like this. Okay, and when ta comes at the end, it will again remain the same. The example can be of this word sakha ta ta. You can easily, inshallah, identify this. Let's move on to the law alphabet, sisters. This is like this. When it comes at the start, the example is la la ma ظلم. When it comes in the at the end, we have this example واغلظ. واغلظ at the end here. واغلظ. Okay, let's move on to the next pair, sisters. Now, these two alphabets now again they have similar shape, which is Ain and Ghain. The Ain alphabet, sisters, we will again, take the attachment of it, the first part of Ain, just the way we did with the Ha, Ghain, Ha, Kha, and Jim alphabet, right? So we will do the same with the Ain and Ghain alphabet as well. The example of the Ain letter when it comes at the start is like this. Aqiba. Ain letter is at the start here. Aqiba. Okay. So, what happens, sisters, is that Ain, when it comes in the middle, it has a very, unique shape now. You will have to remember this new shape for that as well. The example is of this word. Ta'qil. Ain is here. Ta'qil. So the shape it took is that of something like this, sisters, right? Like this. We write it like this. Again, writing it like this, right? So you will see it written like this when it comes in the middle. Ta'qil. Also, when ayn comes at the end, it will take again a shape something like this. Okay, so you will again have to remember it like this. For example, let me just write an example as well. Like this, sisters. Jama'a. Ain is here at the end. Jama'a. Ah. Okay. Now moving on to the next alphabet, sisters. Ghain. The same procedure that we did with the Ain alphabet. Ghain, when it comes at the start, we have this example, sisters, of غضب. Gha. Ghain at the start. Gha. غضب. When Ghain comes in the middle, sisters, again, you will have to remember this new shape like this with the dot on top of it, like this. لغلامين. Ghain is here, sisters. لغلامين. لغلا. غو. Ghain is making the غو sound here. غو. لغلامين. Okay. When Ghain comes at the end, this is the shape Ghain will take. Right? Or you might find it like this as well at the end. This is the shape Ghain will take. Okay. Now moving on to the next alphabet, sisters, which is Fa alphabet now. Again, sisters, because of its unique shape, you will be able to memorize this as well. Why? Because, this is the only alphabet which has this shape and with a dot on top of it. So Fa alphabet, when it comes at the start, we cut Fa, the first part of the Fa like this, and we make as, the shape like this. Okay, so when fa comes at the start, the example is of this word fa'ala. Fa is at the start, so fa'ala. Fa'ala. Okay, so when fa comes in the middle, this is the attachment we will use in the middle. The example is of this word yafqahuna. Fa is here, sisters, with a dot on top of it like this. Yafqahuna. يفقهون. Fa here. يفقهون. Okay, so this is the way we will use fa Okay, so not many possibilities in this slide. For the first two letters of Pa and Allah, you will not have to remember anything, just their own shape, right? They don't take many shapes. They remain intact, regardless of their position in a word. For the next pair of Ain and Ghain sisters, we use its first attachment, the first part of these two alphabets when it comes at the start, right? But when it comes in the middle, when these two alphabets come in the middle, their shape is becomes, very different, like this and this. So you will have to remember these two shapes, right? When it comes in the middle, and also at the end as well, like this. Next alphabet was Fa sisters. For Fa, you will not have to remember much possibilities because it is like kind of a similar thing, right? Like this thing with a dot on top of it, like this round shape with a dot on top of it. But when Fa comes at the end, sisters, it is very simple. It remains intact. It is like this at the end. Okay. Now moving onward, sisters, for the Qaf alphabets. So the Qaf alphabet, sisters, now it will be very similar to the Fa alphabet, just like the Fa alphabet, but what is the difference now? The Fa alphabet had a one dot on top of it. Now Qaf will have two dots on top of it. Okay? Qaf will have two dots on top of it. When Qaf comes at the start, sisters, the example is of this word Qamarun. Qamarun. Qaf is at the start here with two dots on top of it. Qa. Qamarun. Qamarun. Okay, so when fa comes in the middle, the example can be yaqulu. Yaqu. Qaf is here, sisters, with two dots on top of it, like this. Yaqulu. Qu. Yaqulu. Okay, now moving on to the next alphabet, which is a light kaf. Kaf alphabet here. Kaf is, written like this as well, right? The kaf alphabet is written like this and like this as well. Like both of these shapes are of the Kaf alphabet. Okay, so when Kaf alphabet comes at the start, it will look something like this, sisters, right? Because I said that the Kaf alphabet is written like this. We'll take the first part of the Kaf and we will use it at the start like this word. Karoma. Kaf is here at the start. Karoma. Right, the way we remember calf is that this has this straight slanting line attached to it. This symbol is of the calf alphabet. The example that we are doing is of karama. You see this slanting line of calf here. Karama. When calf comes in the middle, it has this very interesting shape, like this, right? When calf comes in the middle, we use something like this, sisters, like this. This is what you see in this word of li kulli ku here. Kaf letter here. Li kulli kulli, right? Li kulli. Also, you will find kaf written like this here as well, like this. Al kaila. Al ka. Kaila. Kaf is here. Here kaf and here kaf. Okay. When kaf will come in the middle, it can take the shape like this as well, sisters, like this. This is the way we see kaf here. In this example, we see kaf here like this. Yahkum. Ku sound here of kaf. Yahkum. Yahkum. Okay, so these are all the possibilities for the kaf alphabets, how you will find it in words. Okay, now moving on to the next alphabet, which is lam here, sisters. This is very simple, inshallah, very easy. Sometimes it can become little tricky. Why? Because of this word, sisters, like this. What happens, sisters? Let me just, make this easy for you. Let me write it for you. This word here has three alphabets. The first one being Hamza, then we have Lam alphabet, and then we have Alif alphabet in this word. What we have done, sisters, is that we have kind of joined these two alphabets here together. Okay? And we have written it like this. Lam alphabet is joined with the Alif alphabet. This can become a little tricky, right? Lam alphabet is like this. And then we have Alif alphabet, we attach it like this. Sorry. Okay, like this. Lam alphabet, and then we attach Alif like this. So this is the shape of this word, which has three alphabets. Hamza at the start, then we have Lam, and then we have Alif. And we say it like illa, illa. Lam here is in the middle. Illa. So this is, the same shape used here. Let me just tell you which shape of the lam is used here in this word, this shape. And with the lam, we have alif attached here. This is the only thing happened. Lam, and then we attached alif with it. Okay. So this is the example of how lam comes in the middle or at the start as well. Okay. Now looking at another example of this attachment here in this word of malakum. Lam here is in the in this position. Malakum, ma la lakum. Okay, let's see another example when lam comes in the middle like this of this word. Yaj'alahu. Lam here is here. Yaj'alahu. 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 Okay, so this is the possibility for the lam alphabet. When lam alphabet comes at the end, this will have its shape, as it is, like this. Kulli, kulli, right? Now moving on to the next alphabet, sisters, which is meme alphabet. Meme alphabets, again, it has a unique shape, so you will not find much difficulty because, this round kind of shape without any dot or anything, this is of the meme alphabet. So when meme comes at the start, this is, something like this. Meme. Ma, da. Ma, da. The example of when meme comes in the middle and, we use this attachment is of this word. Meme here is in the middle, sisters. Sa, ma, a. Sa, ma, a. Right? So this is how we'll write meme in the middle. Now let's see how meme will come at the end. Na'lam. Na'lam, right? Meme here is at the end. Sometimes, you will find it written like this at the end as well. In this example of kuntum, meme is written like this at the end as well. Kuntum. So all of these possibilities are of the meme alphabet, how you will find it written like this. Okay. Now moving on to the next alphabet, which is Noon sisters. So what happens for the Noon alphabet sisters is that sometimes we confuse that with the Ba alphabet. So, the shape of the Noon is very much like the Ba alphabet when we use it, when we cut that Ba and we use it. The Ba alphabet was like this. Okay, when we use the bar was like this. So the shape is, almost, very same, just the difference is on the of the dot. For the Noon alphabet, sisters, the dot is on the top of it, but for the Ba alphabet, the dot is below it. So this is what you will have to remember as well, right? When we were discussing the names and the shape, so the Ba alphabet is very different to Noon, right? The Ba is like this and Noon is now very round and like this. But when we use their the cut parts, when we use them in the words, their shape becomes very much similar, and the difference is only of the dot, the position of the dot. So you will have to have this clear understanding of the dot with regards to the letter ba and noon. Okay, when noon comes at the start, sisters, we will have it like this. Example is of this word nadkhula. Nadkhula. Noon here is at the start. Now let's see the example of this word here next. When noon comes in the middle now. Kuntum. Noon is here. Kuntum. Kuntum. Noon. Kuntum. This is noon here. Okay. For noon, sisters, yes, when noon comes at the end, we will have it in its actual form, in its actual shape, like manna. When noon comes at the end, it is very simple. Manna. Okay, let's move on to the last row that we will inshallah do today. Now we have wow alphabet. Wow, wow alphabet. Again, very unique shape. And you will not be confused, inshallah, with this. Wow comes here at the start, shape is intact. Wow comes here at the end, the shape is intact here. Very simple. For wow, just remember the shape of the wow. Okay, so the next alphabet, this is very actually again interesting. Why? Because ha has, quite many shapes that you see all of these possibilities, right? This is the way we write ha alphabet. This is the ha that comes from the lower portion of our throat, sisters. This is the way we write ha, and then we have this way we write ha, right? Both of these are the same alphabets. Okay, so when ha comes at the start, let's see the way it is written. Let's take the example of this word here, hal. When ha comes at the start, this remains like this. Ha. This will be written like this. When ha comes in the middle, sisters, it will be like this. Almost the same shape like this, but with an attachment here. A ma la hum. Ha letter here. Hum. Amalahum. Hum. Okay, so when ha letter it comes at the end, it will take shape like this. Rabbihi, ha letter is here at the end now. This is the same ha that comes at the end of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name as well when we say Allahu. This is the same ha. Hu. Rabbihi. Allahu. Rabbihi. Okay, so another important point is that we discussed the shape of the ta letter when it comes at the end, and I mentioned that when ta comes at the end, sometimes it takes the shape like this with two dots on top of it. This is very closer to this shape of the ha as well, right? We write them in the same manner, but for the ta alphabet, you have two alphabets on top of it. For ha, we do not have any alphabet. So this is the difference in the shape as well, right? So for ta letter, we have two dots, but for ha, when it comes at the end, we do not have any dot. Okay, so when ha comes in the middle, it can take, two shapes, right? I have discussed the first one, which is this one. When it comes in the middle, it might take something like this shape, and when it comes in the middle, sometimes it takes a shape like this as well. Of this word, alayhim, we have ha here now. Alayhim. This is ha. Alayhi. Him. Okay. So these are the 4 to 5 possibilities, rather 5 possibilities for the ha letter. The shapes or it will take depending on the position in the word. Okay, so let's move on to the next alphabet now, sisters, which is now Hamza, which has I think it has the maximum number of possibilities. It has the maximum, and then we have like this ha alphabet on the second number, I think, and then for ta or something like this, the ta comes then. So for Hamza, it has the maximum number of possibilities. The Hamza, it will take so many shapes, and again, I repeat again and again that how we will identify Hamza. So I say that Hamza comes in its actual shape like this as well. Then, when Hamza comes on any other letter, for example, when Hamza comes on the shape of something like Alif, or when Hamza comes on the shape of something like Ya, or when Hamza comes on the shape of something like Wow, that will actually be Hamza and not the other letters written below it, right? So this is not Alif, but it is Hamza. This is not the Ya alphabet, but it is Hamza. This is not Wow alphabet here, but again, this is Hamza here. So how we will know this is Hamza? Because the little symbol of Hamza will be there on top or below it. Okay, and this is a very unique shape of the Hamza that you will have to memorize yourself. inshallah, that this is also Hamza, and we call this Hamza, this is a type of a Hamza, and we call it Hamza Wasili or Hamzatul Wasl. Okay, so inshallah, if you want to know more about it, you can search it by this name of Hamzatul Wasl. Because these are the beginner sessions, so I just avoid going into the details of these alphabets as well, or names or types as well. Okay, so let's see, when Hamza comes at the start, it will be like this. For example, this is the example. Ila, ila. Here Hamza is at the start. Ila. Or this is also an example of how Hamza can come at the start. Alam, alam, alam. Okay, let's see the example of Hamza when it comes at the start in this way. Here, very common word. Alladhina. Alladhina. This is also Hamza. So when Hamza comes in its actual shape and form, this is the way we write it. Example is of this word here where Hamza is at the end. Shay'in, shay'in, right? Shay'in. Here Hamza is at the end with the sound of in. Okay, sometimes you will find Hamza like this as well, sisters, that Hamza will be written in a shape below something like this. This is also Hamza, right? In this word of ta'ifatan, E sound here. E sound of Hamza. Ta'ifatan, ta'ifatan. Okay, let's see the example of Hamza with this shape. Let's see it here. This word here, wahayyi. Here we see Hamza like this on top of ya. Hayyi, wahayyi. At the end we have Hamza. Hayyi. Okay. And sometimes we will find Hamza written like this as well. In this word, Hamza is written like this. Jina, jina. Okay, so this is also the way we write Hamza. But again, for Hamza, even if it has a lot of possibilities, you will inshallah kind of identify this because of the symbol of Hamza that is mostly there. This symbol of Hamza, this symbol, this symbol, this symbol. So mainly you will only have to remember this possibility, right, which is a little different in shape. Okay, so when Hamza comes with on top of Vowel alphabet, it will be example is like of this word or of this word. Ha-ulai, ha-ulai, of this word here, right? And then we have an example of this word as well. Yu'minuna, yu'minuna, in which again Hamza is on top of alphabet. Wow. Yu'minuna. Okay, moving on to the last pair. These are the two alphabet which are the same ones, right? The ya and the ya. These are two the same, just the way of writing them differently, right? This is the same alphabet. We can write it like this as well, and then we can write it like this as well. The name or the sound is very similar to the Y alphabet, right? Y alphabet of English. Okay, so the way we'll write the ya at the start of any word is like this. These three possibilities. Very similar, just a little differences differences in these. Sorry, just very minute differences, right? When ya comes at the start, this is the shape that you will see. For example, in this word, ya alam, ya is here at the start, and yes, which has two dots below it. Or when it comes here in this word of yakhfuna, ya here is again at the start. Yakhfuna, ya is start. Okay, so ya comes at the start like this as well in a rather round shape in this word. Yumitu, yumitu. But sisters, again you will identify with the two dots below it. Okay, so what we do, sisters, with the ya is that we confuse it with the letter ta. we discussed at the start, right? The ta alphabet, again, it has two dots as well. But when ta is, it comes at the start, it has two dots on top like this. When it comes in the middle, the ta alphabet is like this, right? So the shape is very similar to the ya alphabet now. So again, you will have to remember for it that for the ta letter alphabet, sorry, the two dots are on top of it, but for the ya alphabet, the two dots are below it, sisters. Okay. Now let's see when ya comes, at the in the middle, how it will look like. So this is the way when ya will look when it comes in the middle. The example is of this word buyutikum, you. The two dots here, sisters, this is ya here. Buyutikum. Okay, when ya comes at the end, the shape remains intact like this. Example is of this word al-ghayyi, yi sound at the end of ya. Al-ghayyi, al-ghayyi. Ya is at the end like this in its actual shape. Okay, so what happens with this, this ya here then? If, I have given all the examples with the first shape, right? So this is also the shape that is used in, the copies of Quran as well, like this as well, sisters. So you sometimes will find the ya written like this as well in Quran. The example is of the same word here, ala with first ya shape, and then we have example with the second ya shape. Both are the same words, but the shape of the ya is used different. So why I have mentioned this example, because in copies of Quran that certain PDFs that you might find online, you might see this ya written in both this different ways as well. Okay, so this is the possibilities that you will have to remember for the 29 alphabets of the Arabic, and that how they change their shape according to their position in the word. Or also, sisters, you will find this ya. Um, how should I explain this in a simple manner? Okay, sisters. So, when you will see the Quran, you see certain symbols written as well, right? Sometimes, we have already discussed these three symbols of Fatha, Kasra, and Dhamma. And then we have certain other symbols as well, like the small, small symbols that you see after the words as well. Like, this symbol, let me write it. Okay, like this symbol. Okay, my pen is not working. This symbol, or like this symbol, or like this symbol that you see, very small symbols. So, sometimes this symbol is also there as well in a short form. You will find this symbol as well. So this is the symbol of the ya that is mentioned in the symbolic short way. And yes, it symbolizes something when we read Quran. So when we are learning how to recite Quran, so then this is explained that why this symbol is mentioned and what do we do with this symbol when it comes in a short form. Okay, so I hope I have not confused you, but and that is another reason why you are supposed to remember this shape of the ya alphabet as well. Okay, so I think I have said so much for today. I just kept on uh, s- I was the one who was talking all the time. So I think that I should give you turn now. If there is anything you would like to say or anything regarding the the shape of the Arabic alphabets, you can say it, inshallah, and then I can show you the way we join the alphabets together as well. Yes, sisters, is there anything you would like to say? Okay, this will help you much more. Okay, so in front of you you see the alphabets joined together now, sisters. So this is the way you can practice as well, that you can take such exercises from the internet as well, in which you will have to put some effort in understanding that, okay, which is this alphabet. The first one here is lam, and then we have alif attached here, right? And this is also the way I have told you that lam is attached with the alif like this as well, right? So now we have here ba alphabet, which has a dot below, and this is alif with it. Let's take another example of this one here. This is the way you will, this will help you identify the alphabets now with their sounds before moving on to the Quran. That is how you can practice. This is fa alphabet with alif attached, right? This is the way we use sod letter, and sod and alif. We use the first part of the sod, right? And then we have alif. Let's take the example of some else word. Okay, so let's take this example now. This is kaf alphabet at the start, then we attach with the ta alphabet, right? Right? So this is the way we attached alphabet together. Let's take another example here, sisters. This is sheen, and then we have lam. We take the first part of the sheen and we have joined that with the lam. Okay, let me just move quickly. We have already, I've already tried to explain the things to you, but you can practice all of these exercises yourself as well, sisters, inshallah. Okay, this is, what is this? Okay, this is qaf. Yes, this is qaf. And then we have bod, dod letter.
God.
Yes, qaf and bod. We took the first part of the qaf because it is coming at the start here, right? Okay, so who is going to guess this one, sisters? What is this one? This is ba and ra. Okay, so what is this? Use the name of the sister, right? This is Ain. You have said it correct. I can understand. This is A sound. Ain and Dal. Very correct. Mashallah. Okay, let's, move on to the little complex one now. Who is going to guess this one? Ain and Dal. Yes, when we will place the symbols, then we will use the sounds. Ba, a, da. If I place these fitha symbols on all of these three alphabets, we will say ba'ada. What is this one? Who is going to guess this one? This is actually Hamza. Interesting, right? This is also Hamza, sisters. I said that Hamza is very interesting alphabet. This Hamza alphabet, this Hamza, this shape. This is very interesting. Why very interesting? Because it takes a lot of shapes. I said that Hamza will be written like this sometimes, sometimes it will come like this, sometimes it will come like this as well, right? So when Hamza comes at any letter, for example, when Hamza comes at Alif, or when Hamza comes at the Ya alphabet, or when Hamza comes at the Waw alphabet, that is actually Hamza and not the other way around. These are not the Waw, Ya, or Alif alphabet, but because Hamza is on top of them, so Hamza is like, very, it overpowers any letter on which it is, okay. So here Hamza is on top of Wow, so this is actually Hamza and this is not Wow here, okay. Here Hamza is on top of Ya, so this is actually Hamza and not Ya here, okay. Is this clear, sisters? This is Hamza, you can say this is Hamza, and if you will find any symbol on top of it, then you can say ah. You will make the sound of
Okay.
Hamza and not wa. You will not say wa, rather you will say ah. Same case here, you will have any symbol written, or for example, let's write this symbol here. So this will be an and not yan. Or let me just simplify this. This is here again. This is not ya. Okay? So this is Hamza, a sound. A sound
Mhm.
here will be. Okay. Is this clear? Let's move on to the next one now. Okay, so who is going to guess this one now? Now, who is going to make a guess? Actually, this is a little tough, why? Because, just the way we have to memorize this thing for the Hamza, this is actually a kind of an important point here as well. Okay, should I tell you, or is there anyone else who would like to make a guess? Okay, I mentioned that this heart takes the shape like this as well. The example I
Mm.
gave in the today's session is of this word, alayhim, this example.
Mm.
Okay, alay and then ha here and this one. So this is that ha. Okay, so what is this, sisters? Now correct, sister. Now
Uh,
you have said it correct. This is bata. And what I have written, this is actually the ba and ha. Okay, this is ba ha, and this example here is of ba letter and ta letter. I mentioned that sometimes when ta comes at the end, this is this can take two shapes. The first possibilities of this and the second possibilities of this, right? So this is the two ways how you will see ta at the end of the words. Okay. Okay, so let me just make you guess another thing from here, and inshallah we will then end the session. What is this, sisters? What you are saying is this alphabet, right? What you are reading is this alphabet, sister. Okay, so the alphabet, this
Yeah.
is the alphabet. But this
The
one here in this word is wa, a heavy form. Wa, wa,
raw.
yeah,
Wow.
wa, and then lam. Wa la la. Wa lam lam. Okay, yes, very correct. The guess was actually correct, but the problem was little in the sound, the way you articulated it. So very good, sister. And then we have this one. Who is going to guess this one? Exactly, sister. This is Hamza in the middle. Now you see Hamza is written here like this. So how we guessed it? Because of the shape of the Hamza only, right? So that is the way we guess it. This is Sa, and then we have Hamza, and then we have Lam. Seen, Hamza, and Lam alphabet here. Okay, so okay. What is this, sisters? Okay, so who is going to guess this one now? This one here. Okay, so this is the way you are supposed to practice, sisters, inshallah. Okay, and also one is the way just we have just practiced now, right? You see all of the words written here with they are like color coded, right? And that is how you are able to guess as well, make a guess as well. What you can do is that another way is, sisters, to write these as well, like this, just the way I'm writing as well. You see the full word, you can take full words from the Quran as well. Even you can take the copies of your Quran and you can try writing those words in their this form, like the separate letters, right? This is ya ha ba, so you can write it like this, right? You can practice like this, all of these, kha ta fa, or sa ma na, or you can write them other way around. You can take the Arabic alphabets. Okay, let me just say make tell you how you are supposed to practice as well. The other way, sister, is that yes, you use this chart in front of you, right? That how any alphabet, might come in the beginning or in the middle or at the end. You can use these tables and you can keep them in front of you, and then you can, form words with the help of these letters. Try, try making words even if they don't even if those are not meaningful words. What I mean to say is that you just try joining letters together, regardless of if they have some meaning or not. You can practice in that way as well. That is how you will have it will be more challenging for you. It, inshallah, it will help you get better understanding as well. Okay, so you can use all of these different shapes as well, inshallah. So I think I took a lot of your time. Thank you for your patience. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all for your patience and for your hard work and efforts, inshallah. Is there anything anyone would like to say? And then inshallah we can quickly end this session, sisters.
Thank you.
Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la
Welcome.
ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.